Both coaches echoing the same sentiment. Will the real team please stand up? We're ready for tip-off here in Charlottesville, and controlling the tip will be, it looked like it was going to be Virginia, and it is Syracuse basketball. So a nice Sunday crowd on hand here in JPJ, and what promises to be an exciting up and down tempo game. So Virginia starting out, of course, in their signature man-to-man defense. Nice move down low, rebound Cornegay Lucas. Chelsea, who do you like in this starting lineup? Who's key for Virginia in this starting lineup?
Yeah, well, certainly we've honed in on Jocelyn Willoughby. Coach Q saying it's important for them to build a wall against Willoughby, a key for them. You'll notice Dominique Toussaint not in that lineup, is not here today for a violation of team rules. So that's going to be a piece of this puzzle that Virginia will have to navigate around, having some of these younger players step up even more so, as Toussaint averaging just over 10 points a game. So that offense going to now be relied on from some of these other players.
So two true freshmen, first years in the lineup for Virginia. Amadine Trois, redshirt freshman. So pretty young lineup for the Cavaliers, and this Carol Miller can't get that one to go down. Syracuse comes away with it, and we've got a little shot clock issue, one official analysis here, but it will still be Syracuse basketball.
Yeah, well, I thought Syracuse ended up with the possession, but I thought the horn should have gone off because Jablonowski's putback did not look like it hit the rim as time was expiring, but horn never went off.
So when you talk about this offense for Syracuse, a lot of folks specialize on different things. Who's key in the starting lineup for Syracuse?
Yeah, well, Kiera Lewis averaging just over 17 points a game, so that's where a lot of that power is coming from. And then Emily Engstler is a really fun player to watch for me. She's a 6'1" guard. She's got good size, but creates that mismatch when she decides she wants to post up or play down low. And she's averaging 9 points a game, and that's going to be a player who is highly rated coming into this program and has been pretty consistent for the Orange.
Now Syracuse known for their offense, but will also press as they just did versus Virginia. Almost lost by Virginia. Nice step through by Jocelyn Willoughby. Virginia now with first blood, 2-0. Nice spin move, but it's one and done, and here come the Cavaliers.
It will be so important to rebound on both sides for both of these teams, but for Virginia, the more you can limit Syracuse to just one shot and done, the more you can try to push in transition and limit the amount of times you're having to face this half-court set 2-3 zone.
It's a great point. Virginia has not done well historically against 2-3 zones or zones in general. And that one with the three-pointer that's off. Opportunity in transition for Syracuse.
So early on, most of Syracuse's looks have been in the paint. They haven't finished them, but they've been going at the rim. The Syracuse team that we know, they're volume shooters. You're going to see them take a lot of three-point shots, but encouraging to see them getting feet in the paint to start early.
And it's interesting because the paint has been an area that Virginia has not been able to stop a lot of teams. Another rebound for Cornegay Lucas looking ahead. The freshman from Paris, France, Amadine Trois, trying to get the three-pointer to go. She's been pretty good for Virginia here in the last two games.
Big confidence booster for her against North Carolina. Hit a couple of triples. And in her first game without her knee brace, if you've been watching Virginia women's basketball, Amadine Trois with 2 ACLs is now playing without a knee brace. That's confidence. Big rebound, in and out. Cornegay Lucas in the right place at the right time again for the rebound. Yeah, well, I really, if you're Coach Q, you've got to be pleased. These are high percentage shots. Syracuse is not just knocking them down. So early on isn't going to hurt you. You do need to start to see some of those go down, but I like their attack mentality of really getting right at the rim.
This is a very good 2-3 zone. That one is going to be Jocelyn Willoughby, the fourth year, getting to the free throw line off the dribble penetration.
Something she does so well is be able to get to the rim. She pounds the ball, is able to finish through contact or at least get a good shot off during contact.
Virginia with a 2-0 lead, make that 3-0 lead. And we talk about the epitome of the student athlete. Jocelyn Willoughby, certainly that for Virginia.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she is sort of just that poster child. I've so enjoyed getting to know her and just talk to her. Such a mature outlook on life and perspective, and really just approach to this game. This is a kid that you can see all the things she's accomplished academically, but with the season she's having, she's got hopes of going to the WNBA, and I think absolutely has a real chance to do that. And said she's working through how she's going to make that all work with her graduate program and when the draft is, but responsible and has had an awesome year as there's a good pass now looking for her teammate Jablonowski. But Willoughby, just draft stock continuing to go up and up, and you talk about Coach Thompson and some of those assistant coaches. She's got the resources and connections to the league on the sideline to help her understand really what it takes to get to the next level.
Virginia now with a 6-0 lead after the assist from Willoughby, and Syracuse finally knocking down a bucket.
And now you see the trap. When Syracuse is able to score, look how difficult they make it for the opposing team. This is that last score for Virginia. Willoughby attacking off the basket, recognizes she draws two defenders and getting a nice little wraparound pass. A tough angle, but manages to get it to Jablonowski.
So good start today for Virginia Cavaliers. This defense, though, not giving Virginia the room they typically get to drive to the hole. That's their bread and butter, getting to the hole off dribble penetration.
Well, against the zone, that ACC high post logo is really what breaks it down, as there's a textbook example right on cue.
Right.
Making me look like I know what I'm talking about, but that's a really good job flashing to that high post area, and then even just getting a touch in that high post area shifts the zone, and then you can work on that back line as Virginia just did a great job doing that. And again, Syracuse with 2 more points in the paint, and you'll now see them set up this pressure.
The presence of the post players in the paint for Syracuse, unbelievable, but then Virginia answers. Carol Miller, the first year from Alexandria, Virginia, knocking down her first jumper of the day. A little big on big action. Virginia in transition, trying to get better in their secondary break. Carol Miller again knocks it down with confidence.
It's still early, but resemblance of the start that they had against Notre Dame, where they just were turning some of that offense, or excuse me, that defense into easy offense, and you can just feel their confidence build when they're seeing some of those shots go down. And now a turnover.
It's been the start that Coach Tina Thompson has wanted for her team this season. Miller knocking down the jumper, the freshman on fire for the Cavaliers.
And Doug.
And now for their service to the community, we present Limu Imu and Doug with this key to the city.
It's an honor to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And now, we need to get back to work.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
who was an amazing USA National Olympic team, who actually played for Coach K. Yao in the 1986 FIBA World Championships, Goodwill Games, went to Russia with that team twice, and man, what a legacy she has.
Do you have any specific memories that stand out from Coach Yao?
Well, she succumbed to cancer, and several years ago. But I remember after we won one of the World Championships in Russia, or maybe we were in Helsinki or somewhere. I can't remember where we were, but we were in a different country, and our team had won a World Championship, and we went over. We went to this restaurant. It had music, and our entire team and all the coaches, Marianne Stanley, Kay Yao, Sylvia Hatchell, who was at North Carolina. All of us dancing in this restaurant, singing, what's James Brown's song? I Live in America. Remember that big, that big song? It was amazing, but truly one of the great ambassadors of our game, and one of the kindest coaches I've ever played for. And obviously successful, coached the Olympic team in 1988 and World Championship team in 1986. So Coach Kay Yao definitely missed, and we're honoring her today and play for Kay. And a lot of teams are doing this around the country.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it's so cool how her legacy has lived on through this game, because a lot of players now who wouldn't maybe have necessarily known Coach Yao learn about her. And,
great point.
It's talked about amongst the coaches, so it's passed down to these younger players who weren't around and playing necessarily at this level when Coach K was. And so it's a fun game for players. You see all the gear and all of that, but then you really do realize as you go on the impact and the purpose of this game, and it certainly is for something so much bigger than yourself.
(14-10) lead by Virginia. You can see Virginia donning the pink jerseys for Play for K, and my understanding there will be some acknowledgement of survivors in the arena at some point today as well.
Yeah, and especially for this game uniquely, even more so, you've got Tiana Manakahia. If you haven't heard her story yet, a player for Syracuse who is a point guard, one of the greatest in the assist category, tremendous job, was diagnosed with cancer and ultimately has beaten it, announced cancer-free on November 7th, and has just been a light in her fight, and her teammates have been alongside of her this whole conference, all of women's basketball alongside of her, supporting her, and I think even her impact that she's made in the way that she's fought this and is back on the sidelines and is expected to be back fully healthy next season on the court as well. So players wearing that patch on their uniforms today, and becomes a little bit more real when you've got somebody that's your age sitting over there who is diagnosed with this terrible disease and has fought it. So it's really, really powerful to see Tiana over there and all of these players, again, playing for something so much bigger than themselves.
The coaching staff also with the 4TM on their gear, on their jackets today as well, in solidarity with this team and a lot of teams around the country. The funny thing that Quentin Hillsman said is that, I said, how is she doing? He said, she's doing great. Sometimes I have to tell her, stop talking, T. It's like she never left. She's still running the show. And he says, just great. Her spirits are up. She's fighting. She's encouraging. It's like she never left. So that was great to hear as well. Virginia with a 16-10 lead. Pickoff by Syracuse. Big girl bringing the ball down the court. I think Syracuse could have some major big-on-big action. They have great passers and Engstler, great shooters from the outside, can really mess you up defensively.
On this lineup you'd look to try to have Engstler taking advantage inside. And that's a good job by Washington to draw the charge, hustling back on defense.
One of the areas that you see a lot with transition, the difficulty of transitioning to the next level for high school players, is leaving the floor with the basketball. It's consistent. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. All first years do this.
There's Engstler with the triple. Just a three-point game now, and so quick start for Virginia, but Syracuse has just been patient and hasn't made every shot, but knocking some down now. Good little turnaround by Willoughby.
Willoughby hasn't made every shot, but certainly consistent in her efforts offensively for this Virginia team now with a 5-point lead. You see Virginia doubling the post play. Syracuse really trying to neutralize that inside game. Willoughby The drive and tries to kick it to Trois. Trois will take a seat for Coach Tina Thompson. Shamira Williams, a freshman out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, scored over 3,000 points in high school, so high hopes for Shamira Williams here at Virginia. Also taking a seat will be Jocelyn Willoughby with Dylan Horton, also a first year out of Los Angeles, California, Redondo Union in the game for the Cavaliers. Meg Jefferson, how did I miss Meg Jefferson getting in the game? Another first year in the game for the Cavaliers. So you got 4 true freshmen on the floor along with Lisa Jablonowski, a 4th year. This ought to get real exciting, Chelsea.
They got a little bit of a shorter bench too without Toussaint, so maybe more minutes for these younger players than even they're used to.
That's a nice move. Oh, the official didn't like that, but you love that move. All right, we'll have our next women's basketball doubleheader for you Thursday with 2 great matchups at 6 Eastern. It's the Tobacco Road rivalry game between North Carolina and Duke at Cameron Indoor. Then, number 5 Louisville hosts number 14 Florida State at the KFC Yum Center. Both games are right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. About 3 minutes gone in the second quarter. Syracuse looking for that offense, not finding it on that possession, and here come the Cavaliers. Shamira Williams with the step through, and one.
I honestly thought that looked like a travel.
Yeah. Let's take another look at it.
She got the and one. I thought they blew the whistle for the travel.
Yeah, I did too.
It looked like an extra step. And Coach Q was shocked to see that that was called the and one. You know, watching film on her, she just sometimes tends to finish the most crafty, off-balance, crazy-looking shots. You can tell she just has that knack for the rim, somehow gets the basketball to go in.
Williams with the old-fashioned three-pointer. She's been 2-time ACC Freshman of the Week so far this season, and you're kind of getting a glimpse as why. I gotta tell you, Tina Thompson's brave. You're brave. You got your 4 first years out there. Lisa Jablonowski, the elder stateswoman out there trying to keep things under control. Virginia's lead growing now to 8. With about 6 minutes left in the half. But you're right, I think you're right. Look at the mileage that Willoughby, Toussaint, when she's here, the miles that they log every single game, 30 plus. Oh, the iron was kind for Jablonowski.
Jablonowski can shoot it out there. You don't see her do that often, but gets the friendly roll there. Jablonowski's usually just that blue-collar, does the dirty work down low, gets those cleanup or trash points off the boards, and just those hustle plays.
The pull-up jumper goes down. Renegade Lucas showing no fear in the open court.
A highly contested shot. That's just one where you sort of say good D, but better O.
Virginia's lead now 12. And what does Syracuse need to do? I think they're getting good looks, Chelsea. Anything different they can do offensively to get higher quality looks, get it to go down?
Yeah, I think in the half-court set, you want to see their offense be a little crisper and cutting a little bit harder to make Virginia's defense move. And then trying to crash the boards as Engstler hits another triple now. That's the thing with Syracuse, though, Fran, too, is they could have a double-digit deficit, and the three-point shot and just that high-octane offense that they have, they quickly can get back into it. They were down 16 to Virginia Tech in the third quarter in their last game and ended up winning that game. And so it is never over for Syracuse. You can never really be in that comfort zone with a lead.
And on cue right there, again, Engstler again knocking that one down. Virginia a little careless with the basketball on the last possession, and Coach Tina Thompson wants to talk about it. Virginia up by 7 here in Charlottesville. Come on back.
What can Teddy's do for you? Receive a $50 bonus towards any facial or massage service. Visit teddykazov.com/TV to claim your free gift.
What do you think Quentin Hilson said in his locker room at halftime?
Oh, I think we keep shooting. We know he said that because that's what he told us yesterday. When they're not making shots, he tells them keep shooting. You need to be confident. I think he's probably challenging them to continue to get to the boards and crash, try to get some second chance opportunities. Defensively, you want to keep moving against that zone and really trying to be as disruptive as you can getting to your spot. So I'd imagine those are the few things that they're trying to shore up. The more they can score, the more they can set up the full court pressure.
We know they're going to stay in that zone. We know they're going to run, and you see 7 seconds right now. Virginia still passing the ball around the perimeter. The penetration and reverse by Willoughby to start off the second half.
And that is the most frustrating thing for a coach. You play 28 seconds of really good defense and then give up a shot at the last second by a crafty move by the senior. You have to finish the full 30 seconds of a possession, and Syracuse breaking down there at the end.
Eight seconds on this end. Now the double team and the dish down. It's going to be a tie-up on the floor. Possession error pointing to Syracuse.
That's a really good possession for Virginia. Textbook help moving on the backside is what Willoughby hobbling off of the court now. You can see this last possession, though. Willoughby doing a good job of defending Engstler, getting her into that trap down low, and then the backside defense rotating really well.
Fast break opportunity. Back to Shamira Williams, and Amadine Twab might have taken that shot. Opportunity, rare opportunity for Syracuse in transition here. Sometimes you can be too unselfish.
Well, this is a Syracuse team that leads the conference in blocks, and Stroutman with the clear size advantage there.
Let's get the sense that Syracuse could be doing a lot more with their high-low game. It's hard to stop that.
Yeah, ISO on the post down low, and that's where they can go in. You're right at the rim, so those are going to be some of your higher percentage looks at the basket.
A lot in the basketball by Virginia. And another turnover. Carol Miller with that one. All the way to the hole, and that's going to go out of bounds. Virginia basketball. So a little sloppy there, I think, in terms of possessions on both teams' part right now.
You know, as we talk about or look at that Kiera Lewis drive, we talked about her being 0 for 6, but she also hasn't gotten to the free throw line. And we said that's something, she scores over 30% of her points from the free throw line. Is another opportunity for the Hoos in transition. But that's an area where even if you're not shooting the ball well, you can still get to the free throw line and get some points there. And that's something that Lewis is usually really, really good at and has not been able to get to so far in this game.
Nice fake by Cooper. Jablanowski leading the break for Virginia, and Amadine Twad just literally got ahead of herself on that possession.
Somehow Virginia tends to make the harder plays look easier, and the easy plays they make look a little more challenging.
Agree with that 100%. Carol Miller will take a seat. The Australian freshman Meg Jefferson in the ball game. Nice move. The three-pointer by Twa, in and out. And a big rebound by Syracuse. Here comes Engstler. You see Lewis getting to the hole, but just not knocking it down. Still, boy, not knocking it down.
He just said she needs to see one go down, as that was not a bad look. Coach Q not going to be upset with that shot, as that's in her range.
Williams with the long three, in and out. And a rare opportunity again in transition for Syracuse. And here they can really run and knock down threes in transition, but they're still not connecting.
Engstler has Syracuse's only 2 3-point shots, and I have felt that they were more even in half court, in that half court rhythm in the flow of their offense, capable of scoring them in transition, But her two three-pointers have come in the flow of their offense as another long jumper for Jablonowski. She hit one of those in the first half.
The face-up jumper by the fourth year. Political science major, and finally the inside game for Syracuse connecting. Maya Finkley on that last bucket. And Meg Jefferson answers on the other end for Virginia. I talked to Meg Jefferson the other day, and I said, what's the most difficult thing about being here as a freshman first year? She said, the pace. You're working out a lot. I didn't work out this much at home. I did a lot of sleeping at home. Nice block by Cooper. Amadine Trois does not get that one to go. And the big rebound, and we'll see if that was a foul. Well, we have our next women's basketball doubleheader for you Thursday with two great matchups. At 6 Eastern, it's the Tobacco Road rivalry game between North Carolina and Duke at Cameron Indoor. Then, number 5 Louisville hosts number 14 Florida State at the KFC Yum Center. Both games are right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
Florida State Louisville will be an exciting matchup. Louisville still unbeaten.
Virginia with the 13-point lead here in Charlottesville. More second half action when we return.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
New face as an assistant coach, but not new to the program. Monica Wright is in her first season as an assistant coach with Virginia women's basketball, and some flashback memories. I had the honor of playing alongside Monty for my first 2 years, her second and third years, and Fran, you and I were just talking about the type of player she was and a teammate, one of the best teammate I have ever played with. Graduated as the all-time leading scorer in program history here, was ACC Player of the Year. She had a career in the WNBA for a few years and coached at Liberty last season. And just stepping away, I don't think in the moment I realized the type of person I was playing alongside. And when you step away and look at her accolades and what she's accomplished in this game, you just sort of realize the tremendous athlete that she was and an even better person. And adding and giving back to the game now as a part of Coach Thompson's staff, certainly an exciting addition. As again, she played her not too long ago under Debbie Ryan.
Yeah, short 10 years. Short 10 years ago.
Doesn't feel like that long ago, but I guess you say it that way.
Yep. And let's not forget, we talk about Tina Thompson's WNBA championship that Monica Wright won with the Minnesota Lynx. At least one WNBA championship, played overseas. And
I know Monty said she played against Coach Thompson in Korea in one, I think it might have been Coach Thompson's final season overseas, but that they actually played against each other. So had crossed paths some then as well.
Monica Wright working with the guards and the forwards here for UVA, and you've seen her forwards do work on the boards there. And here comes Shamira Williams, one of her guards, in transition.
You know, and sometimes I wonder if players really you might have heard your coach's name, but do you, not only Monica, but again, every coach on that staff, Tina Thompson, I know they see Monty's face on the wall because she's in the practice gym on the mural on the wall there every day, but
they don't know.
They
don't realize it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like that at many schools, at most schools. You don't realize the greats, the legends whose shoulders you stand on. I mean, all-time leading scorer. This is one of the heritage-rich programs in women's basketball, 30-plus years, Final Fours. I mean, Debbie Ryan, Joanne Boyle. I mean, lots of great people who have walked through this place, and Monica Wright is certainly in the top 3 in terms of players who've worn that uniform with Virginia across the chest.
And you talk about the legacy they left. I will never forget. She was the type of player that her arm could have been hanging off and she still would have said, I'm fine. Like the coach, you had to physically drag her off the court because she was that competitive. She kind of poured her heart out in every practice. She had one speed, and it was hard and it was fast all the time at the highest level. And so just that toughness, that willingness to grind and to be great was just inspiring, and was a leader on and off the court because it wasn't even so much her talk, it was just her approach every day in practice and in games that inspired you.
Big rebound by Syracuse, and then an even bigger rebound. Vatiana Stasajevic. I'm getting better. So Tina Thompson trying to get some different looks at different lineups. She talked about that in practice. She talked a little bit about that in an interview I did this past week with her. You know, she said, I'm trying to get some looks. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to need against which teams. And because the ACC is so diverse, they throw so many different looks at you. You know, one player may play in one game based on what that team brings, and then that player may not see as much action just because the ACC just gives you so many different looks.
Well, different defensive schemings, different talent levels. You've got different level of balance and scoring on each team in the league. Certainly one scout at a time, and it's a lot of work that goes into prepping for each of those scouts.
We look at 7:44 remaining in the fourth. We see Syracuse trailing by 10, but you got to remember Syracuse is a team that can come back very quickly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, against their last game, we said in Virginia Tech, they outscored them 22-9 in the fourth quarter. They were down 16 points in the third and came back to win that. They trailed the entire game until 5 seconds remaining when Kara Lewis hit a big shot.
Amadine Toit doesn't see the player coming behind her. That's when your teammates have to communicate what's happening on the floor. You can see Shamira Williams trying to make a spectacular play because she thrives on dishing dimes, but sometimes you just have to keep it simple. Willoughby gets it blocked, and it will remain UVA basketball.
When Willoughby gets the ball isolated against Engstler, while Engstler has the size, that's where you want to give Willoughby the ball with enough time to be able to face up. That's where Willoughby's advantage is, on the face up and off the bounce with her quickness. Engstler has the size. If you're going to make a back to the basket move, you'll see her ability to block your shot.
So it's a beautiful pass there from Shamira Williams to Kylie Cornegay-Lucas. Cornegay-Lucas just blew the layup. 1 second remaining. Could not have drawn that up better. Do you remember when you were a freshman? It's so hard to keep it together all the time when you're a freshman. Sustain. Cornegay-Lucas told me a couple of days ago that she says, sometimes I make mistakes and I go, Kylie, what are you doing? She says, I just go, Kylie, what are you thinking? What are you doing? She says, I also have a short memory, though. Oh, nice. Finally on the board. Kiara Lewis, she has been waiting for that bucket to go down. Syracuse cuts it to 10. Fourth quarter remaining when we come back.
No one's heart is quite like yours, whether it's racing or aching, skipping a beat, or caught in your throat. But when your heart needs help, your team at North Shore Cardiovascular Institute uses the latest interventional and surgical procedures to design a treatment plan just for you. Because we believe that's healthcare for what's next.
And Doug.
And now, for their service to the community, we present Limu Imu and Doug with this key to the city.
It's an honor to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And now, we need to get back to work.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Does not get any easier in the ACC. Take a look at the upcoming schedule for UVA. Clemson coming in, and then the big travel to Florida State, Tallahassee. Very difficult to play there.
Yeah, Florida State, a good team. We talked about the most recent loss, though, against Boston College. I'm excited to go back and watch that game film as Joanna Burnaby-McNamee gets the first win against a ranked opponent in her tenure with the Eagles. And then against the Miami team who beat Georgia Tech in overtime, came back from a big deficit there. A Duke team that, boy, when they are clicking and have their players playing in unison, are a lethal team. And then Virginia Tech in that rivalry again.
Exciting game here at JPJ a couple of weeks ago, last week with Virginia Tech. And I know you called that game. It was, you know, a lot closer than it got to be, than it looked toward the end of the game. That's one of those great in-state rivalries that's always exciting.
Virginia Tech, a team that hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 2006 and was in the latest bracketology, and had a 16-point lead over Syracuse and ended up losing. So it will be interesting to see how that affects their standings at this point in the NCAA tournament, but they are in that conversation for sure.
Yes.
And you see for Syracuse, their upcoming schedule as well, as Coach Q 2 wins away from his 300th win, and they'll have to face 5th-ranked Louisville. Syracuse is a team that has played a tough schedule, though, this year. They've played 6 top 25 teams all before the first of the new year.
Wow.
And of their 10 losses, 5 have come to top 25 opponents. So And then a couple of those other losses have been 1 or 2 possession games, just a 1 possession game in their loss against 22nd ranked West Virginia and just a 2 possession game against Louisville. So very capable team, but just haven't come out on the winning side of some of those.
And you hope that the NCAA committee remembers the schedule that you play when it's time to decide who's going to get into the tournament.
Syracuse has some work to do and needs more wins to be up in that conversation, but they do have 2 top 25 wins on their resume.
Yep. I mean, it's a long season. We still have the February, big month, critical month for a lot of teams who are trying to make some noise and get some consideration later, but it really does come down to what you do in this month. Willoughby continuing to the hole.
So good. Yep, really good job of just changing speed, shifting gears, and getting the defense off balance. Boy.
Oh, wow.
Coach Hugh just frustrated, and you run the play, and you've got a player who is 1 for 9 in Lewis and actually knocks that one down. That would have been huge.
Virginia up at home, 46-35.
Doug.
And now for their service to the community, we present Limu Imu and Doug with this key to the city.
It's an honor to tell you that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And now, we need to get back to work.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Here's to the end of illness and the beginning of how healthcare should be. At North Shore, we're transforming your healthcare by analyzing your DNA to identify future health risks for you and working to stop illness before it begins. When you're a North Shore patient, your advanced primary care physician makes the latest genetic science part of your everyday care to keep you healthier longer. Advanced primary care. Here's to taking control of your health and taking on what's next.
Jocelyn Willoughby has been the most consistent player for this UVA team all season long.
Yeah, hitting right about her season average at 19 points. She's 6 for 10 from the field. She's gotten to the line 8 times, 7 for 8 from the line, and has just done a really good job of getting to the rim. Aggressive mentality on the offensive end of the floor.
And has gotten to the 811 mark in terms of rebounding. Career all-time leading 811 for Jocelyn Willoughby, so she does a little bit of everything for this UVA team.
Jocelyn Willoughby is just, again, we talked about her efficiency in this game this afternoon. Engstler leading all Syracuse scorers with 10 points. No one else in double figures for the Orange. And then Virginia, we talked about rebounding, was such a big key for this game, and Virginia's just done a really good job on the boards. You figure even if Kiara Lewis had hit half of her season average, this game would be just about tied. Has struggled to score from the field. Virginia's done a good job defensively, really making Syracuse uncomfortable, not allowing them to get into any sort of rhythm.
9-point lead for Virginia, 3:51 remaining in the ball game. Interesting lineup on the floor for the Cavaliers. 2 freshmen, Williams and Cornegate Lucas. And then Virginia with a pair of bookends in the game right now with Jablonowski and Zasajevic. Willoughby is going to be signaled for a personal foul that she did not agree with. Do we ever agree with the fouls that officials call on us?
A job I do not envy.
Game still within reach. Trailing by 9. They go down low. And the wall by Jablonowski. I like the approach, though, for Syracuse, going to the big girls. Passing around the perimeter, Jocelyn Willoughby with a little stop and pop.
Got it. So good. Her mid-range game is so smooth, elevates well. Good follow-through for the senior.
It's good pressure on the basketball, and Shamira Williams just tries to dribble through. Tries to dribble through and then has a little tweaking of her hand.
At the line for your Cavaliers, number 10, Syracuse, shooting 2.
You've seen a lot of ACC basketball. You got Sam Brunell at Notre Dame. People are putting Shamira Williams in the conversation for ACC Freshman of the Year. What are your thoughts? Anybody missing anybody in that conversation?
No, I think, yeah, Sam Brunell has had to carry the load for Notre Dame. Shamira Williams, certainly a high-octane scorer. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see, too, even talking about Player of the Year, because Beatrice Montpremier was the preseason Player of the Year, but has missed a big chunk of the season. And so some contenders for that, as she has missed so much of that season, but players like Kanane at NC State, Janelle Bailey's had a tremendous year at North Carolina.
Jocelyn Willoughby, who led the ACC in
Jocelyn
scoring
Willoughby,
for a while.
Dana Evans at Louisville.
It's gonna be an interesting February. That's one of the things that will make February really interesting, because we know fatigue is a factor. We know trying to sustain your mental toughness throughout this month before March Madness and the conference tournaments is very difficult.
You know, Elizabeth Kitley for Virginia Tech is another post player and freshman who's done a good job. NC State, Jakia Brown-Turner.
Well, Saturday at noon Eastern right here on ACCN, we'll have the Sunshine State rivalry game between Miami and 5th-ranked Florida State. The Seminoles have won 4 straight against the Hurricanes the last 3 seasons, including an 83-79 overtime win January 18th in Coral Gables. Syracuse continuing to try to slow Virginia down with this press, and now they're wondering where the foul came from.
Yeah, certainly not the plan to start fouling this early, as there's still plenty of time on the clock. Not something they were intentionally trying to do. And Coach Q's demeanor over there.
Great recruiter is Quentin Hillman. You know, we talked yesterday, and I said, you're a pretty good salesman. I have to say, I've watched you. I've heard you talk. He goes, well, you know, with recruiting, we try to keep it simple. We walk into a living room and we know what we need because we know what we do. And so if we think during the conversation the player that we're talking to doesn't fit that, we just kind of say, pass the hot sauce and let's just have a good time. But, you know, you're not a good fit for us. And he says, and we encourage him to do the same thing. Because that won't work for us, or we won't work for you. I like that approach. I think sometimes coaches can get a little complicated on recruiting, and it really is all about fit. Nice move. Lisa Jablonowski with the pass up to Shamira Williams. A little sauce on it. Opportunity for the three-point play. Look here at the great block by Cornegay Lucas. I didn't see that the first time around.
Yeah, athletic block, and then a really good pass ahead, I thought, by Jablonowski to Williams, who was able to catch it just right in stride to finish a little easier. And through contact again to get the opportunity for the old-fashioned three-point play.
You got to watch Cornegay Lucas and Williams. They play very well together. The defense for Virginia cranks up a notch. The offense for Virginia, and it's always lots of excitement when those two get together.
Wow, Virginia's just held Syracuse. I mean, you haven't seen a ton of second chance opportunities, and Syracuse shooting just 27%, and we talked about when they're not shooting the ball well, they haven't been able to consistently set up that full court press time and time again. That's where they create turnovers. That's where they set their tempo, and they really just have not been able to get into a rhythm on that end of the floor.
Let's talk a little bit about Virginia's rhythm. This is a game we haven't talked about Dominique Toussaint a whole lot because she's not here. Of course, we mentioned out for violation of team rules. But you look at this Virginia team, and when you think of them, you don't think of them without Dominique Toussaint. How do you think they've done fared this afternoon?
Yeah, I think that some of the younger players have really stepped up. I think Jocelyn's role is pretty consistent. You know, Dominique Toussaint is another high-level scorer, so the shots that she attempts per game have now been spread out a little bit more, and I think Virginia's done a good job. Again, watching that game film against Notre Dame, they got out to a quick start, an early lead, and then they just maintained and had a really good pace about them. I think they've executed well today. For the most part, have made good decisions. I still think we've seen some turnovers and some questionable decisions, but for the most part, have done a good job of knowing when those opportunities are to push and then being patient against that zone and finding the gaps.
Virginia without the services of fourth-year guard Dominique Toussaint, who averaged 10 points a game, almost 4 rebounds. And anytime you have offensive potency out of the lineup, kind of causes some concerns, but you've seen the slack picked up by committee today. Everybody on that Virginia bench, I believe, and I'm looking over there, has gotten into the action, yes, including Dylan Horton. Drive and kick. Cooper hasn't taken a lot of shots today. And it's one and done for the Syracuse Orange. 1:25 remaining. Virginia with a 55-39 lead.
It'll be interesting to see next season when Gabby Cooper is the one mainstay in the starting lineup that won't be back, but all of those other pieces will be. And you get Tiana Manakahia back. Real veteran, assist playmaker. And it'll be interesting to see what this team looks like next season with her back in the lineup and just that tempo and the poise that she brings to this squad, able to slide Lewis back into that 2-guard spot, which is a little bit more where she's comfortable.
Yep. Good move. Get Jocelyn Willoughby out of the game. She's still kind of limping, but also to your point earlier, a lot of mileage for that young lady for the Cavaliers, getting some rest. Dylan Horton, freshman out of Los Angeles, California, in the game for Shamira Williams.
Returning for your Cavaliers, number 21, Penny Lawson, replaces number 14, Lisa Jablonowski.
Did Lisa Jablonowski get a chance to go to the bench as well? A lot of mileage. Both of them averaging 30-plus minutes. Willoughby only with 27 minutes today. It's a good day at the office. Carol Miller to the hole with the left. You know, the great thing about watching the ACC, we've grown to know and love the first years on every team, and you get to see the progression that they make over the course of the conference play.
Yeah, the evolution of some of the young teams, especially when you've got younger players that are on teams that need their production immediately, and that opportunity to have to really step up becomes a little more evident.
The fans asking for a shot. I'm not sure Tina Thompson is asking for a shot. And an offensive rebound by Virginia, and they will hold this possession. Not sure what you expected today.